Prime Minister Mark Carney just signed a deal with Alberta that lays out the conditions for a new oil pipeline, which led to the Trudeau-era Environment Minister Steven Guilbeault, who until today was serving as the Canadian Identity and Culture Minister under Mark Carney, to resign from Carney's cabinet, though he is staying on as a Liberal MP. His resignation letter directly references today's MOU. The deal with Alberta includes the possibility of adjusting an oil tanker ban on the northwest coast of British Columbia. Yes, really. Remember Bill C-5 that folks were worried about? That would allow projects designated to be in the national interest to bypass certain laws and regulations? Yeah, that's what they'd use here. Now, before I go any further, is this pipeline likely to actually happen? No, in the sense that it still needs a degree of buy-in from BC and coastal First Nations who are vehemently opposed to it. Like in a press release, the Coastal First Nations Great Bear Initiative said, quote, "We will never allow oil tankers on our coast," and quote, "This pipeline project will never happen." There also needs to be a private proponent for the project, but Carney does seem to be doing a lot to try to get private investors interested. At least that's what he told the Calgary Chamber of Commerce today when he went on for over 2 minutes about the ways in which Canada is making it less risky for a private company to invest in an oil pipeline in Canada. To me, it seems like there's a lot of gambling and politicking going on right now on an issue that needs none of either. According to Isabel McMurray, a National Policy Analyst at the Climate Action Network, quote, "In exchange for Alberta marginally improving the industrial carbon price, Canada has agreed to entertain a new pipeline to the northwest coast of BC, permit an exemption to the tanker ban, exempted Alberta from the application of the clean electricity regulations, removed greenwashing provisions from the Competition Act, and committed to expand TMX, to name a few. These concessions will hamper Canada's ability to reduce our emissions to keep on track for only 1.5 degrees of warming, will threaten the rights of Indigenous people, and will lock us into path dependency on fossil fuels." Masterful gambit, sir. And his talk of this potential pipeline going hand in hand with the Pathways project, which is a carbon capture facility, is misleading. Carbon capture is among the most expensive and least effective options to address climate change. In fact, when oil companies capture the CO2 they produce, they will sometimes inject it into depleted reservoirs to get even more oil out. So anyone framing this as balancing a super bad for the environment pipeline with a super good for the environment carbon capture project is misleading you. As for an exemption to the tanker ban, well, Isabel said, quote, "This risks sending super tankers through waters that are highly dangerous to navigate, which makes the risk of a spill much more likely." Overall, Carney is gambling with our climate goals, and in the process, he's increasing the social acceptability of pipelines in Canada and de-risking investment in future pipeline projects. And for folks who continue to say that this is some kind of 4D chess, he's managed to piss off the BC government, the coastal First Nations, and his own cabinet minister who resigned, the Bloc Québécois, the Green Party, all to placate a government that is currently trampling on charter rights. What do you think of all this?